It looks like YouTube's biggest real estate grifter, Reventure Consulting, is at it again.
Inventory is skyrocketing, home prices are dropping, and this could be the sign of the long-awaited California housing market crash that many of you have been waiting for.
As usual, he's proselytizing the crash bro gospel in order to shill his Reventure app at $39 per month. But in this video, Reventure Consulting comes to my turf, the state of California, and he's lying to you. So I'm going to show you exactly how Reventure Consulting lies about the data, and to save you from losing even a penny to this fraud, I'm digging into the Reventure app to show you why it's absolutely worthless. I'm Jon Schwartz, California's 1% homebuyer agent, and my mission is to keep California homebuyers from getting screwed over, whether by carnival barkers like Reventure Consulting or agents who sink your offer by taking too large of a commission. Learn more at jonsch.com, and whether you're in California or not, keep watching for the real story on the Reventure app. The cause for alarm over the California housing market, according to Reventure Consulting, is this.
In the month of March, values in California dropped by 0.44%, the second biggest drop of any state in America.
Pretty big news, right? Reventure Consulting points out that California's price decline is even bigger than Florida's. And we all know that Florida's going to shit, don't we? Now let's talk about lies. I'm sure you learned in high school or freshman year psych the difference between lying by commission and lying by omission. Lying by commission means saying something untrue in order to deceive. Lying by omission means withholding something true in order to deceive. And in this video, Reventure Consulting is either lying by omission or is the dumbest real estate channel to ever hit YouTube. The lie of omission is this. There's an annual cycle to the housing market, to every housing market. And every year, prices go up in the summer and early fall, and then prices fall in the winter and early spring. This graph from the California Association of Realtors shows the median price of a California home over the past 20 years. And as you can see, prices go up and then go down, 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 go up and then go down. You'll see this undulation in any market's price graph. It's a fact that everyone who works in real estate knows that prices peak in the summer and bottom out in the late winter, early spring. So it's just wild that Reventure Consulting suggests you can multiply a single month's price growth or decline to get a sense of what's happening for the year. Just listen.
We're looking at month over month. So when you see these values, if you want to think about what they could be in a year, times it by 12. So minus 1% in a month could become minus 12% in a year if these declines were to continue.
I cannot overstate how stupid Reventure Consulting sounds saying that. Anybody who tracks real estate data knows that you never multiply a single month's price movement by 12.
Values dropped 1.7% last month, which if you annualize that, that would be over 20% in a year.
That's not actually what annualized means. Quick example, 2017, a totally normal pre-pandemic year for the California housing market. If you annualized July's price movement, you'd expect a 12.8% drop for the year, but annualize August and you're looking at a 34.7% gain. Ridiculous, right? But that's how Reventure Consulting wants you to think about month-over-month price moves. By the way, California home prices went up 7% in 2017. This graph shows the month-to-month change in the median California home price going all the way back to 1990. This graph covers 424 months, and in 201 of them, prices fall. Looking at month-over-month price movements, you see price declines 47% of the time. So I find it really fucking rich that Reventure Consulting accuses us, real estate professionals, of not wanting to talk about price declines.
Because this is a narrative that you're not going to really hear on the ground much from local realtors, from local real estate investors in California. A lot of those people are still trying to tell you that the market is going up and is going to go up more in the future.
Nobody. You're presenting the narrative that prices should always go up so that you can take 1 month of price declines and announce the beginning of a crash. In reality, it's literally the realtors, the California Association of Realtors, publishing the data showing that home prices go down 47% of the time. Of course, you'll find none of that data in the Reventure app, which we'll get to in a moment, and I'll give you an update on where the California housing market actually sits right now. But first, Lightning round style, we have to dispel the other lies of omission Reventure Consulting spews about California. Let's hit it.
With the number of listings across the state of California skyrocketing by 50% over the last year.
Yes, inventory is up 50%, but it's still not back to pre-pandemic norms. This excellent graph from the California Association of Realtors shows monthly inventory going all the way back to 2018. If we zoom in on March, we can see that pre-pandemic inventory levels were around 50,000 homes. The pandemic decimated inventory. Remember when home prices were skyrocketing up at 20% a year? Last March, we saw a little improvement, and from then to this March, inventory did grow 50%, but we're still below normal pre-pandemic levels.
Meanwhile, the number of home sales across the state has plummeted by 40% from its pandemic peak.
Yeah, thank God. In March of 2022, the pandemic peaked. Home prices grew 10.2% in a month. And yes, I know I just made a whole argument against looking at monthly price movements in isolation, but you understand my point, right? Sales have plummeted from an unhealthy, hyper-competitive, price skyrocketing level to an acceptable level.
This supply-demand imbalance is now officially causing home values to drop.
We're actually exiting the imbalance and beginning to approach a supply-demand balance. And actually, home values are not officially dropping. More on that later.
What we're seeing in California's economy right now is a big slowdown. The number of job openings has collapsed. The number of layoffs has gone way up. This state is massively exposed to industries like media and tech, which are both in a recession right now, and that recession is showing up in the statistics on California's job market.
Okay, that's a cogent argument. Let's see the statistics.
And to see what I'm talking about, we're going to look at some data here from Indeed, the job postings website.
Seriously? The Indeed Job Postings Index? And gang, this is the only data point Reventure Consulting uses to paint this bleak picture of the California economy. He could have looked at California's actual GDP growth, which is humming along at 6%. He could have looked at California's actual unemployment rate, which has recently declined to 5.3%. He could have pulled up California's actual job numbers, which fluctuate from month to month, but show a net creation of 90,000 jobs over the last year. I hope you're beginning to see the negligence of this analysis, and I really hope you're beginning to wonder if the Reventure app peddles in the same stank horseshit. And I'm going to show you that it does, but first, for my dear California viewers, here's a 30-second update on where California's housing market actually is. As of April 2025, sales volume is down from last year, but only by 0.2%. The median home price in California is higher than it's ever been, at $910,160. That's right, prices are still climbing, not officially down, as Reventure Consulting reports. But there's actually good news for buyers. Because sales have slowed and inventory has picked up, there is now 3.5 months of supply on the California market. This is still considered a seller's market, but it's a huge improvement from where we were in 2021 and basically in line with pre-pandemic supply and demand levels. Okay, you're thinking, but what about Reventure App? Sure, Reventure Consulting's videos are clickbait buffoonery, the laughingstock of the real estate analysis world, literally the last piece of media you'd turn to for home buying advice. But what about that app? It looks pretty cool, right? It collects tons of data points at the state, county, city, even zip code level. It uses a proprietary algorithm to come up with a home price forecast that predicts where prices are headed over the next 12 months, all the way down to the zip code level. And it's only $39 per month, so if you're shopping for a home, why not sign up for a few? Holy fuck, do you see that? The area's typical home value as determined by the Zillow Home Value Index? Are you fucking kidding me? Okay, so let me explain to you how asinine this is. The Zillow Home Value Index is, quote, built from the ground up by measuring changes in property level zestimates. Reventure App uses zestimates to track home values. By Zillow's own admission, zestimates for unlisted homes have a median error rate of over 7%. That's more price movement than a typical market sees in a year. But that doesn't even begin to capture how worthless Zestimates are. Do you remember what happened when Zillow tried to spin up an iBuyer business based on its own Zestimates? I'll let Reventure Consulting remind you how that turned out.
Huge news, everyone. Zillow is no longer buying homes and, in my opinion, is predicting a housing crash.
Well, that housing crash prediction turned out to be wrong, surprise, surprise, but Reventure Consulting got the first part right. As Yahoo Finance reported, problems with the company's estimates forced it to shut down its home buying business and lay off a quarter of its staff. Zillow stock plunged 80% from its peak value. You know, there's a saying in data analysis, shit in, shit out. It means if you load up your model or algorithm with shitty inputs, like Zestimates, you're going to get a shitty output, like Reventure App's home price forecast. And we can actually see what a stinking pile of shit the Reventure App's home price forecast is because in this video, we see California's March home price forecasts going back to 2017. And we get this chart showing the one-year forecast based on the Reventure score. So we can actually compare 8 years worth of Reventure App home price forecasts to actual price growth to see how worthless those forecasts are. Let's do it. Okay, the Reventure App home price score for California for March 2017 was 44, which translates into a price forecast somewhere between negative 2.6% and negative 0.3%. And the median California home price growth over the next year, according to the California Association of Realtors, was 8.91%. Ouch. That is a big miss, gang. March 2018, Reventure App gave California a 48, which translates to negative 0.3% to positive 2% price growth. And actual price growth over the next year was 0.16%. All right, good job. Actual price growth was within the range Reventure App forecast. Tie score so far. March 2019, Reventure App gives California a 40, which translates to negative 2.6% price growth. Actual price growth was positive 8.25%. Ouch, that has to hurt. March 2020, Reventure App says California scores a 51, which means 2 to 4.3% price growth for the next year. Actual price growth was 24.08%. Wow, that is embarrassing. March 2021, Reventure App gives California a 66, which translates to 8.9% to 11.2% price growth in the following year. Actual price growth was 12.1%. You know what? That's technically outside of Reventure's forecast, but because it's directionally correct, our judges are going to give it to them. Good job, guys. March 2022, Reventure App says California is a 68, which also translates to 8.9% to 11.2% price growth. Actual price growth was negative 6.8%. Oof, way off, numerically and directionally. March 2023, Reventure App serves up a 45 for California, which translates to negative 0.3% price growth. Actual price growth was positive 7.7%. Another big whiff from the Reventure App. March 2024, Reventure App awards California a 53, which translates to 2% to 4.3% price growth the following year. Actual price growth was 3.51%. All right, another win for Team Reventure. So look, 3 times out of 8, Reventure App's forecast nails it. 4 times out of 8, though, its forecast is wrong, not just numerically, but directionally, meaning prices went up when Reventure App forecast a decline or vice versa. And keep in mind, this is how shoddy Reventure App's algorithm is when analyzing the entire state of California, which sees over 250,000 transactions per year. That's a ton of data points, and as a general rule of data analysis, the more data points in a set, the lower the margin of error. So it's just hilarious that Reventure Consulting then shows off its zip code level home price scores for Los Angeles. Even in a dense market like LA, there are only a few hundred transactions in each individual zip code. There simply aren't enough data points for Reventure App's scoring algorithm to have any accuracy whatsoever at the zip code level, given how bad it is at the state level. And if you live in any market that's less dense than LA, which is every other market except New York, you're going to get even larger margins of error on your local level Reventure App home price forecasts. If you want to crunch some data in your own home search, You don't need to pay $39 per month for the Reventure app. Much of Reventure app's data is imported directly from Redfin and Zillow, and you can get it all for free at these links, which are also in the description below. And if you're in California, Reventure Consulting isn't the only charlatan you have to watch out for. Watch my expose on the California Realtor grift, stealing millions from California homebuyers, and subscribe for more no BS videos like this one.